obviously this is doing incredibly well. You guys are built an amazing company. If you could go back and do one thing different, what would it be?
What would I do differently?
And now, Escaping the Drift, the show designed to get you from where you are to where you want to be. I'm John Gafford, and I have a knack for getting extraordinary achievers to drop their secrets to help you on a path to greatness. So stop drifting along, escape the drift, and it's time to start right now. Back again for another episode of Like It Says in the Opening Man, the podcast that gets you from where you are to where you want to be. And today, live in the studio, ladies and gents, we have somebody that's got an interesting little business here, man, that's grown to be a big, big business. She is somebody that came out of corporate America. She has a PhD in natural health, an MBA. I mean, all of this stuff. This is a smart lady. I mean, she's a smart cookie and had a really cool job. And all of a sudden, she decided, you know what? After 25 years in the corporate America, I'm done. I'm going to go teach people how to get healthy eating algae. She is the founder of Bits, which are EnergyBits, which are algae tablets. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. This is Catharine Arnston. Catharine, welcome to Vegas.
Oh yeah,
How
Vegas, baby.
Vegas, yeah. Glad to have you. I hope you are winning. So you're winning more than you're losing.
Oh well, I'm winning in life.
Yeah, that's good.
I took my big gamble as an entrepreneur, starting a company in an industry that was doing something that nobody believed was possible, and it's taken me a while, 15 years, but it's clearly. I won my hand.
You've won your hand, which I like.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back. So obviously, I mean, you look at the accolades here. I mean, where did you go to school? I mean, all of this stuff. This
I'm
is
actually
crazy.
Canadian.
Okay.
And so all my education up until recently, the PhD was in Canada. So my MBA was at a school called the Ivy School of Business, which is Canada's version, of Harvard. And I did my undergrad at Queen's. But most people don't know those schools, but they are really good schools. And then I moved to the United States. I've lived in Boston, Massachusetts for 35 years, although I recently, just last year, relocated to Miami because I just got tired of being cold.
Too cold. Yeah, it's definitely. Well, here's the question though. Coming from Boston though, when did you move to Miami? When did you move there?
Well, I bought years ago in a pre-construction, but I started living there this January.
Okay,
and it's been heaven.
Okay, no, I was going to say though, because this is the first summer though.
Yeah, but it's been pretty good so
Has
far.
It been?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I'm a born and raised Floridian myself.
Are you really?
I'm North Florida, but I have family in Pompano, family in Boca, family all through there, in Miami now proper. And I got to tell you now, even as a born Floridian living here, when I get off the plane in Florida in the summer, I can't breathe.
Yeah,
this humidity just hits you right in the face.
But I like it because I just was so tired of being cold. So, anyways, I'm in Miami.
Any hurricanes yet?
Not yet, but this will be my first season.
Okay. Welcome to Florida. Here it comes.
Check back with me next year.
You know, it's funny. Well, I'll tell you. I'm going to warn you about some stuff with hurricanes if you don't know. So people don't understand this. When hurricanes come, like everything stops.
Yes.
Like everything closes even if you're like, when I moved to Vegas, I lived in Tampa prior, and we hadn't had a major storm come spinning through Tampa Bay in forever. But literally, even if the storm gets close to you, like everything closes, and it's just shut down. And people come from other parts of the world, and they don't realize, like, well, the storm didn't even really hit here. Why is everything closed?
Yeah,
it's like 'cause that's just how it is. Everybody just boards up.
Well, that's why people are going to need to buy algae because it will feed you and nourish you through forever. But if you can't get to the grocery store and you're hungry and you need something, you just pop a few of those tablets and you're good to go.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So let's back. You went to the Ivy School and you got an MBA there.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So right out of school, who recruited
It's McKinsey.
you?
It's like the Harvard of Canada, like I said. But and I wanted to go to the States, so I got recruited, and I moved by actually a Canadian one of our governments, and I moved to Manhattan. So I lived in Manhattan for 2 years.
Very cool.
Had a great time. Apparently, did such a good job. They promoted me and moved me to Boston. I felt like I was going out to the boonies, but Boston grew on me. It's a charming city, lovely historical city, and I lived in an area called Beacon Hill, which is very old.
Is that where the what is it? The Paul Revere Trail? Is that the Freedom Trail?
Freedom Trail's near there. Yeah,
it's near there.
Yeah.
Right.
And Boston is lovely, but it's also very medical. And I'm in the nutrition, holistic health area. And I just got tired of being cold. Miami is becoming a wellness center, so it's a really great place for me for my business. And I just enjoy the climate, at least so far.
So the question is, so you had your MBA. I mean, we're going from heavy business focus, and then we wind up on algae. So how do we get from
there? I know.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like I used to be a surgeon, and now I paint motorcycles.
Yeah, right.
Okay, what?
Okay,
huh?
Yeah.
There we go.
Tell me how that.
Yeah.
So what happened was I only have two sisters, one older, one younger, and close to both of them, and they're both in Canada. And 17 years ago, my younger sister, my baby sister, developed breast cancer, and her oncologist told her to change her diet to an alkaline diet because it would be important for her healing. They didn't tell her exactly what it did or why it was good for her, or what it was. So the first call she made was to me, her big sister. I'm just a really good researcher and I love my sister. So I said, I have no idea what this alkaline diet is, but I will find out.
I'll figure it out.
And I went on the internet, and anyone could, and it turned out to be a plant-based diet. So I found, because of the chlorophyll and the phytonutrients that are proven to build your immune system, and she was going to do chemo. So her oncologist, which is a cancer specialist, wanted her to have a strong immune system. But as I was doing more research, I found that apparently there's a German scientist by the name of Otto Warburg, who in the 30s won a Nobel Prize for discovering that cancer cannot exist in cells that are slightly alkaline. There's a scale of 0 to 14, and slightly alkaline means slightly over 7. So the fact that her oncologist recommended an alkaline diet to protect the other cells from having the cancer move into them, I thought was pretty important. So anyway, she changed her diet, went through chemo. I learned so much about plant-based nutrition. This was 17 years ago. Nobody was talking about it then.
And not a lot of internet sites for this back then.
Yeah. So I'm just a crazy, high energy, problem solving.
Where were you researching this?
Online.
Okay.
Online.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The internet was around.
You know what's funny? It's so funny. You get to a certain age and you're like 17 years ago, like in reality wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's like 2010 almost. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But like you thought 17 years and my brain goes to 1980. My brain goes like 1985.
Yeah.
Nope. It's 2026.
So anyways, so I thought I should do something about this. But I had no money at the time because I gave up my corporate career to help my sister, and I knew nothing about it. So I enrolled in a place called the Institute for Integrative Nutrition in New York, which was for a certificate in health coaching. So I went through that, and then I put my own curriculum together. This is what led me to Algae. I put my curriculum together, and I taught plant-based nutrition at corporations and hospitals. But people were literally laughing at me because I was telling them to eat more vegetables. And they said, my mother's been trying to get me to eat more vegetables, but they give me gas. They're too much work. They're heavy to carry home from the grocery store. My kids won't eat them. My husband won't eat them. Like 1,000 reasons they go bad. So I thought, okay, I've seen the health benefits of vegetables. If I can't get people to eat vegetables, I need to find a way to give them the nutrition in a way that doesn't take a lot of time, doesn't give them gas, doesn't taste terrible, and all these. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, but back to everything I found for my sister, and I just went deeper. And that's when I got to algae, because it turns out algae's been endorsed by NASA for 50 years as the most nutrient-dense food in the world. We have a quote saying 1 gram of algae has the same nutrition as 1,000 grams of nutrition in fruits and vegetables. 1 to 1,000.
Really?
Yep. I can give you the paper with the quote in it. We found out the United Nations has endorsed spirulina algae. We're going to talk about the different algae. One's spirulina and the other one's chlorella. For 50 years, there's a global conference online. You can see the results of this conference, and they declared spirulina the answer to world hunger. Why? Because it has the highest concentration of protein in the world. It has 3 times the amount of protein as steak, chicken, and fish. There is nothing in the world with more protein than spirulina algae. Chlorella, yes, ours is 64% protein. Animal protein is about 32%. Next, turns out there's 100,000 studies documenting all the health benefits of spirulina and chlorella algae. Everything from preventing heart disease, preventing Alzheimer's, preventing inflammation, preventing accelerated aging, just getting rid of toxins. Endless, 100,000 studies. That's a big number. Turns out it's an agricultural crop. Yes, there's algae in the ocean and the aquarium and other places, but it's grown as a food crop in Asia. This is grown in hydroponically. So it's in fresh water. So yes, there's algae in the ocean. The stuff you spirulina and chlorella, if you buy it from Trader Joe's or from us, it's grown in freshwater ponds, then air dried and pressed into tablets. So it's been used safely in other countries for 60 years. Right. 99% of all algae is grown in Asia. But the best part of it all is that it came in these little tiny tablets. They're about the size of a baby aspirin. Okay. And each one of these tablets has the same nutrition as an entire plate of vegetables. So while I'm talking to you right now, I just had a plate of vegetables.
That one little thing.
Now, most people do swallow them, and you do need a minimum of 10 to make a difference in your health. Yeah. Now, I like to chew them. But now if you swallow them, there is zero flavor, zero.
So wait a second. So if you need 10 of them, why does it have the same nutrition as a plate of vegetables?
Because I used that quote from NASA, 1 gram. So I took the measurements of we sell them in large bags of 1,000 tablets, and 1 bag has the same nutrition as 551 pounds of vegetables. I didn't bring one with me, but that's 30 grocery carts of food is contained in 1 bag. This is why preppers buy it. For, people probably with hurricanes, because it is the most nourishing food in the universe, but nobody knows that. So I use that quote from NASA to calculate the concentration. It's a little under a pound of vegetables per tablet. Okay. So and I like to chew them, but most people do swallow them. So now, and by the way, they last, the expiry date is 3 years. So vegetables go bad after 3 days. Algae tablets, ours, last 3 years. People don't like vegetables because they don't like the taste. There is zero taste if you swallow them. If you chew them, obviously.
If you chew it, little algae taste.
It's green. I will admit. Sure. People are taking, like you said before we started, you're taking like 20 or 30 supplements. This can replace. There's 40 vitamins and minerals. This can replace your multivitamin, your CoQ10, your fish oil, your collagen powder, your biotin. There's 5 right there. So you can eliminate.
You mentioned 3 of those I already take.
Yeah. So, and this is food. Those are supplements are made in factories, in many cases from synthetics, that your body has a hard time recognizing and absorbing, because it's not what you eat, it's what you absorb. So bottom line is, with all the science, with all the international endorsements, the fact that it's food, the fact that it's been taken daily in Asia for 60 years, where it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, the fact that it has all the attributes and gives you all the things. It gives you the fiber. Chlorella has fiber in it, so it gives you the fiber of why do people eat vegetables? Because they want the fiber, which helps with bowel movements, and they want the chlorophyll. Algae has the highest chlorophyll in the world. Chlorella algae is called chlorella because of the chlorophyll. By the way, chlorophyll and your hemoglobin, the chemical composition are virtually identical. So chlorophyll builds your blood, but our vegetables don't even have any chlorophyll in them anymore. So there's zero benefit of chlorophyll. You can get chlorophyll water, but algae has 25 times more chlorophyll than chlorophyll water and 500 times more chlorophyll than arugula. So why do you take vegetables? For the fiber. Chlorella stimulates, we'll talk about the different benefits, but chlorella stimulates bowel movements. So you get all the benefits of vegetables without having to eat them. And there's 1 calorie per tablet. You can travel with this. You can't travel with a big bag full of broccoli anywhere, and who does anyways? I can't eat a lot of vegetables because they give me gas. As you get older, people have a hard time digesting vegetables. Mothers, they fight with their kids to try to get them to eat vegetables, and you just give them a few of these. You never have to worry again. Guys go crazy the fact they don't have to eat vegetables anymore. Are you kidding me? And if you're a partier, and you were here in Vegas, baby, chlorella pulls out toxins. We'll talk about the 2 different algae, but chlorella pulls out toxins, heavy metals, glyphosate, pesticides, and yes, drum roll, alcohol. When you take 30 of these after any kind of alcohol, beer, wine, spirits, you are stone sober in an hour and a half, and you will never have a hangover. Ever.
Really?
Ever. Yep.
That's the market here.
Yeah, Vegas.
So let me ask you. So you eat 10 of these? Do you eat 10 of both of kinds?
I eat way more than that, and I've been taking them for 15 years. So so 10 of.
What's the rest of the diet? I mean, what's the rest of your diet?
Well, I eat whole foods. I'm not carnivore. I'm not vegan. I'm not anything. I just eat real food. I can't eat any processed food because I'm so clean and so healthy that it upsets my stomach. Seed oils give me stomach digest. So I eat eggs. I eat grass-fed beef. I don't eat a lot of fruit because I can't eat a lot of sugar. Yeah. I really do intermittent fasting. So these are really great for intermittent fasting because they don't break a fast. There's no carbs. So you can, and so they're ketogenic. So I usually intermittent fast, although when I'm traveling, I usually do eat breakfast because I never know what I'm going to eat next. So so
they won't break a fast because I'm a 36-hour fast guy.
God bless you. Yeah. This is fantastic for fasting because especially when people are getting into fasting because they're worried about being hungry. Spirulina, you will never be hungry because it's the highest protein in the world, loaded with essential fatty acids. So it satisfies your hunger, stops cravings, and has nutrients in here that build your brain and improves your focus. So I was on an entrepreneur's podcast yesterday. And entrepreneurs, we work long hours. Well, you're an entrepreneur. Long hours.
16 yesterday.
Yeah. And you're running around. You don't have time to eat properly. And if you're eating in a rush, you're probably standing up and you're probably not digesting properly and you have gas. So it's not pretty. So this is your answer. You pop 10 or 15 or 20, 30 for lunch. 30 is 30 calories. There's 1 calorie per tablet. Fully nourished. So spirulina is, I call your nutritional insurance because it gives your body everything that it needs. You could live on this forever. You would not even need any other food if you didn't want to. And then chlorella, which is a detoxing wellness algae. I call it your wellness, your health insurance. This is your nutritional insurance. This is your health insurance. This pulls out toxins, heavy metals, glyphosate, pesticide, alcohol. Athletes use it because it pulls out lactic acid. They use spirulina as a pre-workout. This is a post-workout. It also has the highest tryptophan in the world, which is a precursor to melatonin. So this helps you sleep. This helps you with bowel movements. This is what fiber does. This has fiber. This stimulates what's fancy word is peristalsis, but it's basically a bowel movement. So it helps you poop, helps you sleep, helps you poop.
We're not that sophisticated of an audience here, so we're good.
So and let's face it, people like to party.
That's the toxin one.
I absolutely promise you, this will save your party life.
All right. Well, let's go back and talk. So I think I have a good understanding of what the product does. I want to talk about the business of the product, right? Because a lot of our listeners out there that have, hey, man, I want to start a business. I want to do something, and this is something that, you started. Walk me through. Let's whiteboard this out.
Sure.
Let's take me back to what? I think I like this algae stuff through my research. I think it's good. Were you buying another product that was similar? Was there nothing available? Did you see a hole in the market?
So the first thing I did, yes, I did see a hole in the market. So I went online to see what other companies were selling and how they packaged it, where they sourced it from. I went to some shows. I met some of these companies, and this was 15 years ago, and the packaging was dumpy. I mean, algae has been sold in America for 60 years.
Yeah.
And it's a multi-billion-dollar industry in Asia, but it has never taken off here. So you have to scratch yourself and go, well, why? First of all, it's not grown here, so nobody knows about it. The number one. There, you can't go to school or work without driving by an algae farm. Here we have soy and wheat and whatever. So when I saw the way they were packaging it, if you went to a health food store, it would be on the bottom shelf, covered with dust, looked like, it had worm guts in it. Like the branding was terrible. If you want to sell something to America, it's got to be pretty. It's got to be jazzy.
Black bag with yellow.
Be sexy. Yeah. It's got to get their attention. So none of that was happening. So first of all, I thought, okay, I can certainly do better than that because I also did a stint in the interior design industry. Okay. So I have a really good design eye. Then I saw that all of it was coming from India or China, but then I started reading about the better algae came from Taiwan. But 99% of what was sold in America came from these crappy places. So I thought, I'm going to find a better source for algae, which I did. So once I figured out that it needed to be explained better, there was no explanation. That nobody else is.
Nobody's telling the story.
Nobody else is telling the story. It certainly needed to be branded better. And my background was in branding and marketing, and then I had some design work. I thought, I can do this. I know it's not going to be easy, but I can do this. So I just hunkered down and I had to learn the science of why this worked so well.
Well, let's back up because now when you're looking at this, did you a lot of people have like trophies in their office, right? Like, look at my awards. Look, I got this award, I got that award. My office is filled with disasters. I have little mementos of mistakes that I made in business.
Yeah.
And one of the things that sits on my desk is I have $100,000 bottle of vitamins on my desk.
Oh God.
Because many, many years ago,
you invested in one?
No, we did. My sister and I were like, let's start a nutritional supplement MLM without ever asking anybody if anybody wanted it.
Yeah.
And so that was like, my thing was like, make sure there's a market for this before you dive head first. So what market research did you did to establish a market? Did you maybe tease the market with stuff you didn't have, like a Kickstarter idea? Or
I actually didn't do that.
You just went head first in.
Well, what I did, and I was by myself for literally 5 years because I wanted to be sure.
What year is this?
So this was 2010 is when I started the company. So literally 15 years ago, right? Okay. But my sister was sick the 2 years previous, and then I had to go to school, and then I did the education, and which led me to Algae.
Got it.
So I read the science, and I was convinced there was something that everybody was missing because the science showed that this stuff was a game changer for people's health. Absolutely, full stop, game changer. And I decided I didn't care how long it was going to take me. I was going to bring this to market because we needed it. And that was even before the current health crisis, nutrition crisis, environmental crisis, because it was 15 years ago. So I didn't do any market research. I just knew it needed to be brought to market. And I was going to do my damnedest to outsmart all those food companies that have been poisoning us with their calculated food engineering.
So damn the torpedoes, I'm doing this.
Damn the torpedoes, burn the bridges, burn the boats. Okay. There was no B plan.
What was the budget?
I had no budget.
Okay, so you bootstrap this, or you get investors?
I completely bootstrapped. I had 6 checks for $10,000 15 years ago.
Okay,
and after that, and I used.
So can we talk about that? Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Where'd the checks come from?
Friends.
Okay.
Just friends.
So,
I had convertible notes.
Well, okay. This is interesting. So now, because there's people that are listening that like might start a business, walk me through the process of going from I have this idea to sitting down with your friends and having a compelling enough pitch for them to write you checks for $10,000.
Yeah. Well, when I was dating one guy.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, date rich guys. There's number one, date rich guy. Check that one off the list.
Well, I did. So I did. I went through the science, and I wrote a deck. You have to write a deck, and I showed pictures of all the crappy packaging other people did, and the rates of heart disease escalating, the rates of cancer escalating. Clearly, there was no solution on the current radar, and I've worked a long time. I mean, and people trusted my judgment. So these are people who have known me for a long time. These weren't just people I met last year. And I had started 2 other companies prior.
Okay. So you did successful?
Well, successful enough. But not, one, we had to shut it down because it was in the interior design industry and I needed more, and I did take investors for that. Okay. And we needed lots of inventory, which required lots of money because it was furniture.
Well, I think the lesson here is it's more important for you to be investable as a human than have a good idea.
Yeah. Well,
like they were probably writing you checks because of you.
Yes. And at the time, 10,000 did sound like a lot of money.
Yeah.
And now that I'm a multi-million-dollar business, it's not actually that much.
Yeah.
But these people could afford it. They were very, very wealthy anyways. But more importantly, they knew me. And
they were betting on you.
And one was somebody I did my MBA with. And so she was one, and so she became one of my investors. So, but she had seen me in school, run just about everything at school. So yeah, I had a personal track record with these people. I didn't ask for a lot of money. And they've
so no luck. You earned those through reputation. You earned that.
So that's where that money came from. But the rest of it, and just to might as well spill the beans. I was so committed to this, but I had used up all of my own savings. I ran dry. Yeah. I declared personal bankruptcy. I mean, it was the most horrifying thing in my life. Here I am from this fancy MBA school in Canada, and I had to declare bankruptcy because I didn't have a dime to do this. I mean, I didn't go out for dinner for 2 years. I ate eggs and algae, and guess what? My favorite 2 foods are still eggs and algae, but I can afford just about anything I want. But and my condo was in foreclosure for 3 years. My car was repossessed, but I refused to give up because I burned the bridges.
Dude, I love that.
There was no going back. I was going to tough it out.
No, but dude, I love that part of the story because like people listen to this and you hear, oh, the MBA, blah, 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 fancy school, this and this. I mean, now you hear that and like, okay, you were starting at less than zero, not zero.
Less than zero.
You were starting at less than zero.
Because when you go declare bankruptcy, you get no credit cards.
Oh, yeah.
For 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
That was on my credit rating for 10 years. It's gone now.
Yeah, of course.
But nonetheless, it was, I just knew if I could do this, it would be a game changer for the world. Absolute full stop. So I just toughed it out. And, I did things like when I went to shows, conferences, I didn't have any money. I would take my trade show booth thing on a bus in the winter in Boston. Not an easy thing to do. Oh, and I have a very funny story to tell you. And all entrepreneurs, what you need to know is whatever original idea you have, I can almost promise you that's not the winner. You will need to pivot. You will pivot in so many ways you won't believe it. So I'm going to tell you a few of my pivots because some of them are pretty funny.
Okay.
So remember how I said I was first, I gave lectures on plant-based nutrition.
Yes.
And so in the lecture, I would tell people what not to eat, like do not eat dairy, do not eat, whatever. So I
love that.
I became known, you'll love this, as the not eat nutritionist. Well, when you say that quickly, it sounds like the naughty nutritionist, the naughty nutritionist.
The naughty nutritionist.
That was my business name, the naughty. And guess what we sold?
The naughty nutritionist.
We sold EnergyBits.
Oh my God.
This is the absolute truth. I trademarked it.
The naughty nutritionist.
And you can still find it probably online. I mean, it's hilarious.
Listen. There are a few things in this life that I protect more than anything else. I protect my family, I protect my bank account, and I protect my Google search history. And I don't think anybody needs to find me searching for the naughty nutritionist in my Google search history.
I haven't mentioned it many, but it's pretty funny. And I love helping entrepreneurs, but there's people think it's, entrepreneurship is glamorous. Yes, there are moments, but most of it's just grind. And it depends on how committed you are to what your vision is. And you have to pivot when things. So what happened was I did file the patent. I owned the patent, but it turns out that there was a woman, she was like 70 years old at the time in Nevada or somewhere. She called herself the naughty nutritionist. This woman did not look naughty at all. I mean, she was 70, like
maybe it was like a knot in a tree, that's the knot she's talking about.
She was going to sue me for using the name, even though I owned the trademark. But I realized by then, because people thought I was some sort of nutrition porn star, that this was not going to be a $1 billion brand called the Naughty Nutritionist. It just didn't have legs. So I said, you have the name. You go get keep the name. I'll go find something else. Yeah. And I did become Bits of Health, and then I became EnergyBits. So it was
That's how we got to the bits. That's okay, smart. I thought it was the size of
well, they are. I call them bits because they're bits of food.
Yeah,
we probably will change the name again, but I can't tell you what that is. Okay. But that was one of my pivots, was changing the name. Another pivot, and again, this is important, is that I was very poor at the time when I first started, for the first 10 years almost, and I could only hire interns. And so young college kids, they usually, what do? They run because it's a cheap sport. You just have to buy running shoes. You don't have to buy equipment. So all of my young team members were running. And this is so great for athletes. The spirulina gives you energy and focus, and the chlorella pulls out toxins so your muscles aren't sore. So they started telling their running friends, who started telling their running friends, who started telling their triathlete friends and their blogger friends. We blew up and became a sports nutrition product without even me trying or thinking about it.
I was going to say, dude, of everybody that I know, like Jesse Etzler, this is so this is so up his alley.
This would be so up his alley.
So up his alley.
Jesse, if you're listening, you need this stuff. It's
so up his alley.
So we had so many Olympic teams, not just athlete teams. I sent 2 of my team over to Russia for the Olympic, in Sochi that year. And because I'm Canadian, we got complete invitation to the Canadian Olympic Village, the American Village. So it was pretty cool. But then I had to pivot because here's why. Amazon was just blowing up at that time, and sports retailers, all retailers, were taking a hit. And so the sports retailers like Dick's were only buying products that were high ticket items or big branded. I did all the shows, the running shows, the hiking shows, the cycling shows, couldn't pick up a single retailer. Yeah. So we had this fabulous product that the customers liked, but there was no distribution channel. So a friend of mine who was a chiropractor who also ran wellness shows, he said, you know what, why don't you come to one of my shows? I'll give you a booth for free and just see how people respond. So I went to that show. It was love at first sight because chiropractors and wellness practitioners and functional medicine, they all knew about spirulina and chlorella, but had never been able to find a clean source because I had spent years finding the best source of it.
How'd you do that?
Just research again, calling people, going online. Did you go
to Taiwan?
I did not, but I hired somebody who was married to a Taiwan woman, and he became a consultant to me, and he provided me with all the insights. And he goes there 2 or 3 times a year. I'm actually going next year. We're going to do lots of filming while we're there.
Very cool.
So and we signed up like 10 accounts, like on the spot. So I pivoted into the wellness market because I couldn't get the retail channel in the original market to accept the product, even though the customers loved it. And we're going back into sports nutrition now because we will never be a retail product anymore. Because we don't need it. We sell through our own website, EnergyBits.com. No, and we sell through Amazon, but mostly through our own website. Yeah. And we sell through doctors' offices and longevity clinics and biohacking clinics. And we'll probably start.
Which the rise of that continues to rise every day. The market gets bigger every day.
Exactly. So I'm glad of the choice. So the universe, whatever you want to call it, when you got to put your ego aside because you may think, well, this is what I'm going to do, and if it's not working, there's a reason. You either have the wrong channel, the wrong message, the wrong packaging, the wrong branding. Something's not right. It might just be the wrong time. And somebody asked me recently, well, what was your big break? And you know what our big break was? It was nothing that we did. It was COVID. COVID turned around, was everything to us because suddenly, instead of going to Disney with your money that you saved.
Everybody bought a Peloton.
Yeah, people buying Peloton. They're caring about their health. They're making that the priority. And
because here's what happened. The first little bit of COVID, everybody got fat eating frozen pizzas at their house, watching Dave Portnoy review frozen pizzas. And I was like, whoa, I got to do something about this. And I can't go to the gym. So yes, you're 100% right.
But I will say.
That was a cycle of maybe that was just my experience. I don't know, but there you go.
And there's an expression, I wish I could think of how I'd say it correctly, but that opportunity is preparedness meets good timing or something like that.
Luck is when opportunity meets preparedness.
Okay, so up until then, we had spent 10 years doing the science, I redesigned the packaging over and over and over again. I redesigned the website over and over and over again. I redesigned the messaging over and over and over again. So when COVID finally hit, we were prepared for when people were ready to find us. Because if you don't have all those ducks in a row, the opportunity might be there. The timing is good, but if you haven't prepared for the opportunity, you might not catch the wave. So that was what turned everything on. We have doubled revenue every single year since then.
I was going to ask what your growth was. Year 1, what did you sell?
Probably maybe $10,000.
$10,000.
Yeah. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it may not even have been that. It might have been 5,000 because
And then COVID, that was a hockey stick for you.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah. I mean, when it was 5 and it was 10, then it was 100 and then it was 150 and then it was 200 and then 250, but 300, but nothing really, 350. You can't build a $1 billion brand with $350,000 in revenue. So once we hit COVID, we 1 million, then doubled, and then it was 1.5, and then 3, and then 6, and then 12, and then it's just.
So you don't do traditional, but you haven't done traditional marketing strategies. So talk to me about your marketing strategies.
Yeah. So because this was so special and so focused, we're in what's called the early adopter stage, where people who really are lifting the hood, really looking for real stuff, not just fancy, not multi-level, the real science. And because we have the science and I am the spokesperson, we wanted to find other people who would want the science. So I started doing podcasts. When COVID hit, I started doing podcasts because, that's really when they really started taking off, because everyone was stuck in their house, and as long as they had a shirt from the neck waist up, they could be doing a podcast, right? You could have your jammies on.
I am fully clothed behind the desk just for you watching at home. Yes.
So since COVID, so like it's been 3 or 4 years or however many, I have probably recorded at this point maybe 375 podcasts.
Oh, wow.
Most of them are Zoom, but I do like to do, if I can, do them in person.
They're always better in person.
So podcasts have been our number one way to reach the marketplace, because when somebody's listening to a podcast, the podcaster has a committed community that's interested in that subject matter and then that particular host. And so in 45 minutes, so I've been on some that are 2 hours. That's a lot. That's a lot.
We try to keep dormant. For some reason, my desk just shut off. I don't know why, but you can't tell from the camera, so we're good.
Yeah, there you go. So podcasts have been,
make sure we didn't lose power or anything else.
Yeah, right. We did no advertising, zero. I finally now have a great chief marketing officer who knows all about digital marketing and digital footprint and retargeting, and we have all the fancy technologies. I mean, it's crazy so just to show you the power of podcasts, like I will say the vast majority of them are small. They may have 25,000 or maybe 100,000 followers, but there are a few. And like Dave Asprey, for example, he's huge. And sometimes the timing is right. Like about 2 years ago, I was on Dr. Mindy Peltz's podcast. She's really big on fasting, and she had just written a book called Fast Like a Girl. And the book went live literally about 2 weeks before my interview with her was done in March, but the podcast didn't go live until September, right after her book was gone. And the book took off in a huge way. And so did the podcast. And we have discount codes. We have one for your community too, as long as I can remember what it is.
And speaking of books, remember, pick up my book, Escaping the Drift, coming out November 11th, available everywhere. Pre-order it now, thejohngafford.com. Okay. Sorry, cheap plug for myself.
All right, yeah. There you go. Well, that one podcast generated $1 million in revenue for us. And I don't think I'm telling any stories out of whatever, but Dave Asprey's, I was on his last September. And he's been doing podcasts for 10 years. For whatever reason, my particular podcast
was the one that
blew up. It is the all-time biggest downloaded on YouTube of all of his podcasts. Wow. We're at 1.3 million.
Yeah, you just never know.
And we generated $1 million in revenue from it.
It's so funny when you post as much content as we do. I mean, I do. You just never know what's going to work and what's not. I mean, one of my most viral clips ever was a guy in here talking about automated vending machines. It's just like, and we've had some really intricate, super, like Dan Martell. Really famous people. Perry Belcher. Just really famous people that have come through here. And this is just a random guy that I'd never met before that day. Talking about vending machines. Yeah. And it just went to the roof.
I recorded 200 teaching videos. My marketing team said, keep them short. They're like 1.5 million each.
That's all you got.
And it was really to teach people algae for brain health, algae for gut health, algae for longevity. And it was truly to teach people. Turns out people love those videos. Some of them had 3 million views on TikTok.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So, and one of my team was in Italy recently, and they were on the beach, and this person beside them pulls out one of our pouches of, in Italy, for God's sakes. And it's like, are you kidding me? And apparently the person was from New York, and they'd seen
we're traveling with it.
And we're traveling with it. So anyway, so podcasts were our number one for sure.
What's the recapture rate on clients that buy once?
Oh man, we're off the charts. Yeah. Because once you start taking this, you feel so good. You never want to stop. And it replaces food. It replaces vegetables. Your grocery bill goes down. You don't have to buy as many supplements. So we have a subscription program, so people get automated shipments, so they don't have to keep buying it all the time. Most people buy every couple of months, both bags, because one is they're different. The spirulina gives you nourishment, is good for brain health, focus, it protects you from mitochondrial damage, so it's really good for longevity. And chlorella, which is EnergyBits, pulls out toxins, builds your immune system, saves you from hangovers and all that sort of stuff. So they use both.
It's funny. Somebody asked me the other day, because I started something, and I think you get to a point with this, and I think I'm at this point now. I got to figure this out. I'm trying, I take so much stuff. Yeah. So much stuff.
You don't know which one's working.
I don't. Yeah. I started, I'm on 3 different peptides. I've got all this other stuff. I take NAD+. I take all of this stuff. People are like, well, what's working? I'm like, honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like my blood keeps coming back good and I feel pretty good. And when my blood gets a little weird, then we'll adjust some off of this and some onto that to
Well, I'm going to give you a challenge. I'm going to suggest you get off almost everything and just take, but you'll need to take 30 spirulina and I'll send you more, 30 chlorella for a month and then get your blood tested. Because all of those things like NAD doesn't work unless you have a precursor, number one. And all these things are to protect your mitochondria. Yeah. There is nothing in the world, nothing, I'm going to say that again, then that protects your mitochondria like an antioxidant called superoxide dismutase, which your body makes for you from the moment you're born. But by the time you hit 30, it slows down. By the time you hit 40, you have none. And so what does superoxide dismutase do?
It's been a minute since I've had it.
Yeah. So it stops the free radical damage of your mitochondria. That's what all these other things are trying to do. It does it automatically. I tell people it's like a big golf umbrella because when you generate cellular energy, which the mitochondria is that's what they do, a byproduct are free radicals. It's just the way it is. So when you have this stuff called superoxide dismutase, which is also known as SOD, it's like a big golf umbrella. When you pop one of those big golf umbrellas out when you're golfing or shopping, it doesn't matter. You're saved. You don't get wet.
No.
You haven't stopped the rain, but you're not getting wet.
That's right.
Superoxide dismutase doesn't stop the free radicals, but it turns them into harmless water and oxygen so they don't damage the mitochondria. Problem solved. You don't need all that other stuff. And there's other, aspects to it, but
I'm sure at this point you've had people like, here's blood work A, here's blood work B.
Oh, we've had people send us their lab tests from having cancer and they were given 2 weeks to live. And they started taking this stuff and they're still living. And it didn't take long. Like within days, their lab tests, it's just crazy what this stuff does. And it does it naturally. But this superoxide dismutase, your body just stops making it. Just like it stops hormones, it stops melatonin. And there is no food, no supplement with superoxide dismutase in it. And there's 25,000 studies proving that superoxide dismutase reduces inflammation, protects mitochondria, prevents Alzheimer's, prevents heart disease. 25,000. You can't, but nobody knows you can find it in spirulina.
Let me ask you that, but let's get on the rabbit hole a little bit. We're going to put our tinfoil hats on because we talked about COVID earlier, right? We talked about that. And I've had a handful of friends that were really healthy dudes drop dead in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Do you think that, obviously we're not going to get deep in the science of it, but some of the stuff that was maybe in those vaccines is causing some weird stuff.
Yeah.
And that's honestly why I've gone like crazy with all of this stuff. I'm like, whoa, like that dude was super healthy. I know he worked out every day. He was the same age, went on a walk with his kids and dropped dead on a beach.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to do everything I can to avoid that. Do you, obviously I don't know.
Well, first of all, with vaccines.
I don't know where I'm trying to go with that question.
Yeah. Well, I will say, and this is another big push, and I have to say, I need people to know it's not algae that's doing this stuff, all these wonderful things. It's for you. It's the nutrients found in algae that are proven in science. So I always have to let people know I'm educating them on science that exists, and it's the nutrients. But the nutrients that are in algae aren't available anywhere else, like chlorophyll. There's virtually no chlorophyll in our food, but yet chlorophyll builds your blood and is the same chemical composition virtually as your blood. So that's number one. But also in chlorella, which is the, it pulls out heavy metals. What's in vaccines? Heavy metals like aluminum.
What's the number one driver of Alzheimer's?
Aluminum. All these metals.
So what is it? You can't. Your body can't process.
I beg people, if they have to give vaccines to their children, and it breaks my heart, please take the chlorella for a week before and certainly a week after, and probably somewhere between 15 and 30 a day, because it will pull out those metals, and at least we can alleviate or diminish the likelihood of autism. 1 in 12 children in California are getting autism. It's just, and by the way, if you have autistic children, spirulina is really terrific. Anyone on the spectrum, because what it does for your brain. So on the COVID thing, I don't know enough about the science of COVID, but let me tell you this. There was this paper that was written and released in the summer of this year, so 2025. And it was done, I believe, in Israel. I can send it to you if you want.
Cool,
post it. And it was a study done during the COVID period. And patients that were checking into hospitals were given the standard COVID treatment, half of them. The other half were given the standard COVID treatment and spirulina.
Okay.
The patients that were given the standard treatment with spirulina. Not a single one died, and they were all left the hospital without any illness. They were never put on ventilators, never. And the death rate of the ones with just the standard care, no spirulina, the mortality rate was off the charts. Off the charts. Right?
Yeah.
So a couple of things that happen with the COVID is that the virus attacked your blood, because and people were dying because their heart was stopping because they weren't getting oxygen. And so the virus and anything that's acidic, what it does is it strips off the negative charge. I know we're getting deep here. Strips your hemoglobin, which are your red blood cells. Okay. They have a negative charge around them. If you ever held a magnet up, you know how it repels one another. Well, your blood's like that. It has a negative charge, so they won't clump. But the COVID virus stripped off the negative charge, so they clumped, which meant they couldn't carry, they were distorted, so they couldn't carry the oxygen inside, which is what they do. So you were getting less oxygen, and they couldn't get to where they needed to go because they were so big. That was one of the impacts of COVID. It caused the damage of oxygen to be carried, prevented oxygen to be carried to your core organs, and the heart was the first one usually to go. So this and algae is the most alkaline food in the world, and it restores the negative charge to the hemoglobin. So that's one of the reasons why I think the patients that were given the spirulina in the hospital during this test restored the negative charge so the oxygen could be delivered to the organs again and help the patient heal faster.
All right. Well, let me tell you some of my ailments, and you tell me which one of those 10s is going to help me.
All right.
Ready?
All right. I'm standing by.
Yeah, you got it right. So
my
it's
fingers
like a buzzer. It's like a buzzer on either side. So, yeah, one of the things I struggle with, my blood always comes back. I have high hematocrit. So always, I have very, very viscous blood. I have to get blood every 2 months to keep myself straight. Like a guy comes to the office and sucks it out of me. It's great.
Yeah.
But I always have high hematocrit. Anything in there that's going to help me with that? Viscosity of my blood.
There's a great book I'd love you to read. It's called something about the cure, and that is often caused by too much or not enough active. Is it zinc? I'll have to get you Marley. I have to get the name of it, but I don't know enough about that
thing to do this. Okay, that's cool. All right. Insulin sensitivity. Which one of those is helping with
spirulina,
that? Spirulina. Sure. That one's for sure helping.
Absolutely, 100%.
Absolutely, spirulina. Boom. Insulin sensitivity.
Buzzer says yes.
Have you seen people? Because I'm not diabetic, but my parents both were, so I always am very concerned about that. Yeah. Have you seen people that were on the spectrum for diabetes and started this?
We even were part of a movie called Reverse. They took diabetic patients, diabetes to I think the Dominican Republic, and they fed them a keto diet. Our algae, both and they made them exercise every day. Within 30 days, every single one of them reversed their diabetes too. This is unbelievable for diabetics, insulin insensitivity, because this balances your blood sugar. Absolutely balances your blood sugar.
How many of those a day to balance your blood sugar?
Well, for any therapeutic purposes, 30 a day would be what.
Because I'm on. I think for the insulin sensitivity, I think it's Oh God! Here I can.
But here's the great thing.
I don't have to guess. I can. Well, okay. Let's just go through my. Let's do this. This will be fun.
So here's what's going to happen.
We're going to go through my supplement list, and you tell me what you think I can get rid of.
Okay.
How's that?
All right. But when you take 30, this is what. Okay.
See, here's the thing. I got to tell people at home something. See, if you get a podcast and then you have really smart people on, you don't have to pay for doctor visits. That's right. You just have them in here, and you just here's what ails me.
You may take it for instance sensitivity, but you know what's going to happen? Your hair is going to go better. Your skin's going to look. Okay.
So here's what I'm on. You ready? Okay. Obviously, you said the multivitamin. You said that was that.
Yeah.
D3K2.
Get rid of it because there's K2. Your daily requirement of K2 is in both of them.
In both of those. Okay. Fish oil, I'm on that, obviously.
Get rid of that for sure.
CoQ10, you already mentioned.
Spirulina for the fish oil.
Okay. Alpha ALA.
Yeah. Spirulina for that because it's loaded with essential fatty acids.
Chromium picolinate.
I don't know that one.
All right. Flush-free niacin.
Niacin. This has got the highest niacin. Spirulina.
All right. Berberine.
Berberine, you don't need berberine because you get spirulina.
All right, got that. And I take cordyceps mushrooms. That's the AM.
Okay. Yeah. Mushrooms are great.
Yeah. PM is more of that stuff, magnesium glycinate.
You don't need magnesium. And I would take chlorella in the evening because this helps with your sleep.
Helps with
bowel movements.
Okay. NAC?
You don't need either one. Spirulina.
All right. Glycine?
Glycine, I'd say spirulina.
Curcumin?
Well, curcumin, I have to say I like curcumin. It's just
okay. That was good for me. I can keep that one.
Yeah, you can keep that one.
Resveratrol.
I don't need that one. No, I'd say spirulina. That's in there. That one. Yeah. That's because that's longevity.
Here's the one I was thinking of. Okay. Bergamot extract. That's what I'm using to keep the blood sugar. Bergamot extract. Citrus bergamot.
I don't know about that one. What is that? Right. What do you take that for?
That's supposed to help with insulin sensitivity and keep.
Then if it's insulin sensitivity, that's what this is. Yeah.
Astragalus.
Astragalus, is that a mushroom? I
think it's a mushroom.
I think it's a.
I don't know what it is.
I always defer to my food friends.
This is like I eat all this every day. It's crazy,
you don't
right?
need it if you understand what you're taking it for. Yeah. If astragalus, I think is for brain health.
I think so.
So that would be spirulina. There's a great book by the name of Dr. Chris Palmer. He's a psychiatrist and also on the medical, is a professor at the medical school at Harvard. And his book is called Brain Energy. And he talks about how every single brain issue, doesn't matter whether it's depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, post-pregnancy disorder, everything comes down to mitochondria damage. And spirulina has the nutrients that protect and restore your mitochondria because your brain has the most mitochondria in your body. There's 2 million per cell. So the first thing that will improve when you heal your mitochondria is your brain.
Brain function.
So whether it's your mood, your depression, brain fog, when women suffer from brain fog more than men because
my wife battles that like a fiend.
Okay, well she needs spirulina. Here's why: because everybody loses that stuff called superoxide dismutase when they're 40 and 50, which is causing your mitochondria to die, which means you have less energy. It's like in a building, because you're in real estate. In a building, how do you do work? Well, you need lights to do work, right? So think of your mitochondria as the lights in your building. Now, in a building, when you have a power shortage or the lights go out, you call maintenance and they restore everything. Mm-hmm. Well, superoxide dismutase is your maintenance because when in your body, when your mitochondria, because they are the lights and the electricity. And so when they die or get damaged, you just have less lights. You just have less power. Yeah. You can't do much of anything. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. And women suffer more because at the same time their superoxide dismutase is dropping, they're losing estrogen. And nobody knows, but estrogen also is an antioxidant for your mitochondria. So women get hit twice as hard. And again, your brain has the most mitochondria. So the brain suffers more in women. That's why they have more Alzheimer's, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
my wife has the APOC4 gene. So she's got both cursors for it.
Okay, so you have to know that genes are like a blueprint, an architect's blueprint. And my sister and her husband were both architects. Now, you may decide to change your plans. And instead of having a 2-bedroom, maybe you're going to have a 5-bedroom. Mm-hmm. So what you build may not necessarily actually look like the blueprint. Your genes are the blueprint. The thing that impacts your genes is your lifestyle. 98% of illness is because of environmental, it's called epigenetic influences. Your stress levels, your toxic load, your nutritional load, your level of exercise, and all that sort of stuff.
The day she found out she had those genes, like no more aluminum in the deodorant, no more aluminum pans, no more anything. I mean, this is now 13 years ago. She went and had all of her her arteries and her heart checked and all that stuff. There's no calcium buildup in her head anymore.
Nice.
So she's got no.
And K2 will get rid of that if there was any.
Yeah, which is great. So let me ask you one more question about this, which is if obviously this is doing incredibly well. You guys are built an amazing company. If you could go back and do one thing different, what would it be?
What would I do differently?
Besides not brain yourself,
not be as stressed about the outcome. Just have more faith that I would get there because it was very, very stressful.
But even in the fear, though, isn't that you look back at it and that was the fun part?
Well, for a year I couldn't move my neck because I was so strained. At one point, my face was literally bleeding because of the stress. The stress. I never missed a payroll once. I didn't pay myself for 10 years. That's another sort of horror story of being an entrepreneur. But I put it all into my team, into the company. I do pay myself quite generously now. But that it would just be less fear and trusting that I was doing the right thing. I knew I was, but it was nerve-wracking, and I didn't have a partner, and I'm single.
And you had to do it.
So anyways, that would be it.
Well, if they want to find this, where do they find it? How do they get it?
EnergyBits.com, ENERGY, B for boy, IT for Tom, TS, EnergyBits.com. We do have a 20% discount code, Drift. Get you 20% off anything. We have big bags are the best value. They have fun canisters that you can shake the tablets up. By the way, with the discount code, if you buy the large bag, it's normally $130. It comes down to $140. I just want people to know that if you do start with 10 tablets and use that discount code DRIFT, 10 tablets cost you $1 a day.
That's not
$1 a day, right?
It's a cup of coffee.
30 is your therapist. You can't get a cup of coffee. Where are you getting your coffee?
Mel's Diner.
You can't get a cup of coffee
that's
for
where I get my coffee.
$5, let alone $1.
Black coffee. They pour it into my hands for $1. That's what I get.
So it's very affordable, and the outcomes are unbelievable. And you have to remember it's food. And I want people to know algae isn't new. It's just new to you.
Yeah.
And no one's explained it to you or given you a high quality product.
Well, perfect.
So trust it.
Catherine, thanks for coming in. It was lovely to meet you. And this is an awesome product, and I wish you nothing but the best. And if you're listening to this at home, man, A, go check this stuff out. But B, if you take nothing away from that whole story, take this away. If you really want long-term success, you got to be willing to give up a lot in the moment and struggle and suffer and stress to get the life you want. It's not easy, but it is worth it. We'll see you next time. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us for another episode of Escaping the Drift. Hope you got a bunch out of it, or at least as much as I did out of it. Anyway, if you want to learn more about the show, you can always go over to escapingthedrift.com. You can join our mailing list. But do me a favor, if you wouldn't mind, throw up that 5-star review, give us a share, do something, man. We're here for you. Hopefully you'll be here for us. But anyway, in the meantime, we will see you at the next episode.